Good afternoon and welcome to everybody online. This is launch of the second EU co-fund SYS-LIFE call. We have three short presentations today. I'm Markus Juonala, Professor of Internal Medicine, Vice Dean of Medical Faculty in University of Turku and Director of this SYS-LIFE project. First, our Vice Director, George Kassan, will provide some introduction of our program. Then I will quickly go through our website and especially the research opportunities or projects we are providing. And then Maiju, Kannisto, and Sanni Helander, our coordinators, will provide a brief update on our application process. And then after that, there is possibility for few questions. And this meeting is recorded, and also all the other materials will be on our website after this happening. So warmly welcome all. So first, George Kassan will provide overall information about our project. Please, George.
Thank you very much, Marcus. So welcome to the kickoff meeting. And I'm here to tell you about SYS-LIFE. It's a wonderful program that we've got here at the University of Turku. And I'll be talking about what is co-fund. Co-fund is the EU program that supports SYS-LIFE. I'll tell you about SYS-LIFE, and I'll tell you about who can apply, what work you'll do. Why is SYS-LIFE good for me? So basically, the Mary Swarovska-Curie actions is part of the Horizon Europe 95.5 billion program from the European Commission. And this is about funding all sorts of things, notably excellent research. And you can see it there in pillar 1 in the middle left of your screen. There, the Mary Swarovska-Curie actions. And within this 95.5 billion euro program, you have a 95 million euro Mary Curie Actions co-fund program. And then that basically supports PhD or postdoctoral programs across the EU and allows institutions to recruit these researchers, one type or the other type. And the programs can run up to 5 years. And the minimum duration of each fellowship is 3 months. They have to recruit at least 3 researchers and contribute. The maximum contribution from the EU is about 10 million euros. So basically, the EU pays around half in practice of the cost of these things. So it's an interesting instrument. So what's the purpose of this? Well, excellent research and training programs at PhD and postdoctoral level. And it's accredited by the Mary Curie Actions. So basically, when you talk about Mary Curie fellowships, postdoctoral fellowships, this is a similar kind of level of accreditation that you have for these positions as well. So it's very highly regarded internationally. And there's a special focus on international, interdisciplinary, and intersectoral excellence. Like I said, the EU contributes the majority of salary costs, and the beneficiary context contributes the rest. And this can include all sorts of things, as you can see. And let me just see if I can, the screen is a little bit cut off here. What I wanted to say was that research organizations, universities, so these are the kind of people that can apply for co-funds. I mean, you probably don't need to know this because we've already started a co-fund here. So this is more general information that you can look up if you need. But universities are one of the several types of organization that can apply for a co-fund to set up a program like SYS-LIFE. So some important information, useful information. Researchers hired by any co-fund program can be from anywhere. There is a special rule called the Mary Curie Mobility Rule, which they must comply with. And that means that you must not have resided or carried out your main activity in the country of employment, in this case, Finland, for more than 12 of the 36 months before the call deadline. So that's something that means that we'll be getting a lot of international applications, some Finns who are returning to Finland, or maybe some people who are already here in Finland who haven't been here that long and would like to stay on with a program like this. Researchers hired by a co-fund postdoctoral program must have a doctoral degree by the core deadline. In our case, that's in January, and should not already be permanently employed by the employing organization, in this case, the University of Turku, Finland. And what's really exciting, and I hope it'll make a lot of you consider applying for SYS-LIFE here in Turku, is that you can go on short-term secondments. And by short-term, we mean up to 12 months in this case, a third of the total duration of the role. And in this time, the salary is paid by the program as normal, and the purpose of the secondment must be research or training, and training. And you can't go and work for a secondment host, for example, as part of that, but you can do your research and your training alongside partners from all over the world, the best institutions in the world. So you have that freedom to move around, and you also have some support to go and do that as well. Research, training, travel grants available as well. And interestingly, the secondment host can include your current or previous organization. So there's some wonderful opportunities to kind of keep contact with what you're already doing and still build your own career and forge ahead to become a leader in your field. So I'll go to the next slide now. There we go. So here at the University of Turku, we've got a lot of experience with these co-fund programs. SYS-LIFE is just one in a series of these things that we've had over the last 2 or 3 years. And you can see there on the screen, we've got, it all started with a Turku Intersectoral Excellence Scheme, TIES, then SYS-LIFE and GREDIT being Green and Digital Transition, that's at PhD level. And then you've got the new one, which is in AI, it's for human-centric artificial intelligence for the sustainable future. And that'll start next year, that's PhD level as well, and also includes some health research. So that's, if you've got something in health and digital health and AI, that's something coming up PhD level next year probably. So SYS-LIFE, why SYS-LIFE? Well, cardiometabolic diseases and brain disorders account for 48% of mortality in the EU, costing millions of lost working years and more than 1.6 trillion in expenses every year. So it's really worth us trying to find solutions to these problems. The idea behind SYS-LIFE is that if we look in the gaps between disciplines and the gaps between sectors, the gaps between kind of focus areas in the body, we hope that there's new information that's readily available there that we can get hold of, our researchers can get hold of and make these breakthroughs in these areas. So that's a really that's the dream, the vision here in SYS-LIFE. And University of Turku actually has world-class resources for this kind of research, including unique data sets and a great big infrastructure. I think, for example, we're the imaging capital of Europe or something like that. So it's a really good place to do this particular cardiometabolic and brain research. And we've read that according to the European Universities Alliance, typically postdocs in the EU do not have a study job, research autonomy, or career development support. So that's the kind of thing that co-fund action and SYS-LIFE itself is looking to help address. And finally, there at the bottom, I'm sorry if you can't read it, crossing boundaries to achieve breakthroughs can thus be risky, and that's why we try and support this with a program like SYS-LIFE. So as you may have seen, SYS-LIFE encourages approaches that are interdisciplinary, intersectoral, systemic, and longitudinal. So we try and have a really broad view and allow people to look at the gaps between things and also at things themselves in great detail to try and achieve advances. And so let's talk a little bit more about the program itself. It's 22 full-time research positions. We've already hired 11 of those, and each position lasts for about 36 months. And you can do these secondments, as I've mentioned, inside or outside of academia after 12 months. It could be multiple secondments, but the maximum amount of time you can do is 12 months. It has a kind of Collegium Institute for Advanced Studies bottom-up excellence model. So this means that researchers don't get told what to do. They design and lead innovative projects to improve this field of health themselves. And the one thing that we ask is that they meet regularly as a group to share their learnings and perspectives, so sort of kind of collegial approach to things. There's a few EU deliverables as well that you'll read about in the notes, things that we have to ask for, development plans and things which are very useful, but you can see those too in detail. But the vision really is about doing your own research and then meeting up as a group and sharing your knowledge. We also offer this career planning opportunities as well to address skills. So when you arrive here, you'd be encouraged to make a list of your skills where you'd like to develop over the next 3 years, and a mentor will be provided, and you'll be developing a plan to try and get from A to B and hopefully get on to that next job, leadership role in your career, which should be fantastic. We also have a lot of support from partners. They include the University Hospital here in Turku, University of Ghent, Siemens Healthineers, and Turku Science Park, and we may add more to those, but those are our current partners, and they offer a lot of support and expertise in these areas. So who can apply? Well, to apply, you must have a doctoral degree, as we said, and SYS-LIFE asks that this be awarded no longer than 8 years prior to the core deadline, so you'll have to do some calculations and figure out if you're eligible. You can be any nationality, as I've said, but this Marie Curie mobility rule applies, as you can see there on the third point on the screen. Returning residents of Finland are, of course, eligible. And we ask that you provide at least one letter of support from a host unit at the University of Turku. And that's just so that we can actually integrate your research within the infrastructure landscape that we have here. So obviously we can't do everything, but we have a lot of possibility, a lot of capability. And you can find that list of research units available on the website, syslife.fi. So you'll be able to find hopefully some unit that could host you and your project. There's about 42 different units at the moment that are offering possibilities, so that should be good enough to find whatever you need in this area. Application requirements, you're going to have the whole package submitted in English by the core deadline in January. Your research must aim to improve cardiometabolic and/or brain health. It must engage with the university's core research expertise, as you'll see in those research unit lists, and other areas as well. You can look us up and try and find out what we do and explain and convince why your research really aligns with what we're doing here. That's always a good thing to do. And you must comply with university policies, for example, research ethics and local law. Of course, that's to be said. What do we require? Full-time dedication, so that's calculated in Finland as 1,612 hours per year. Participation at all events as required, so this is mostly about 12 events a year. Might be a summer school as well on top of that, but that's pretty much it. Create and maintain a personal career development plan with a mentor. So these are the EU deliverables I told you about before. These are things that we have to put in, and we think they're useful as well. And then to create and maintain a data management plan and adhere by the principles of open science. So that means immediate publication immediate open access to all your publications, whatever you choose to publish, as well as that all your research data must be managed using FAIR, FAIR principles, findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. So we can give you some help with that. It's not too difficult, and hopefully it will add some value as well to your skills and to your abilities if you don't have it already in this field. And then, of course, compliance with policies and law I've mentioned on the previous slide. So we also encourage applications that demonstrate a clear strategic fit with the university and with SYS-LIFE's vision, and that exercise mobility across international borders, exploit and connect European and national research infrastructures, and take advantage of extensive databases that we have at University of Turku. There's social, psychological, and medical databases, samples banks, things like that. And also to make use of our cutting-edge facilities for the analysis of and acquisition of new data. And if you also might have a full pathway to impact in your projects, where you might take a bench to bedside approach, so going all the way to getting that impact of your work realized in the kind of the wider society or within academia. So thinking about how you can take that impact all the way from A to Z. During the program, each researcher will be assigned a department supervisor, a mentor, and if necessary, if you go on secondment, you'll have a secondment supervisor. And that's all been organized very well and very clearly. So there's lots of very firm framework for your supervision throughout the program and support. Your development plans will be prepared with the mentor and formalized with your supervisor. Skill gaps, if you have any, of course, will be identified in your plan and addressed either through the training that we provide at our 12 yearly meetings, or you can go and do your own training, and we provide a little budget for that. So you can go and find your own training courses if you need. And of course, University of Turku has extensive training resources that are available for you. Then I mentioned there the meetings as well. And we have an induction week at the start of the program where we give an overview of what's coming and some of the basic skills training available. And we also aim to have these international summer schools for training and networking throughout the program. So finally, I don't know if you can see it there, sorry, again, at the bottom of the screen. Within your 1612, your 1,612 hours, researchers can also have 5% for teaching activities and 5% for other academic and administrative duties. So basically, we don't want people to spend more than 5% teaching or doing admin, because we really want you to spend the large proportion of your time doing your wonderful research, which you've come up with as part of the SYS-LIFE program. So that's why we limit those, but you can do a bit of time on those areas if you want to. And why, finally, I think this is the last slide. Why is SYS-LIFE good for me? Well, you get to lead your own research project at an early career stage, or early-ish. So that's always very good. And by doing that, you'll hopefully pick up any remaining skills you need to be a professor or a research leader in your field. So that's a really tried and tested way with collegium type programs like ours of getting those skills and getting that freedom to try and test and maybe make mistakes as well along the way. So that's something that's really, really important. The positions are globally renowned, prestigious reputation of the Marie Curie program. So they're supported by that, accredited by Marie Curie. So it's a great feather to have in your cap, so to speak. You can do up to 12 months secondment, so you don't have to necessarily bid goodbye to your existing environment. You can definitely keep contacts and keep collaborations going, or go and find someone who's really leading the field in your area and go and stay with them or learn from them, work with them for up to 12 months. We also offer best practice models for training and development for people who want to be the leader in their field. These development plans and other mentoring support that we offer are quite unique. And this also supports increased internationalization of your research profile. So if you haven't been to Finland, or if you've been in one country the whole time, this is great to show that your research will spread its wings and cross borders, in not only in terms of concepts, but also in terms of geographical borders. We also support interdisciplinary and intersectoral concepts. And like I said, Turku is Europe's imaging capital, develops 95% of Finnish pharmaceuticals, and is home to Finland's brand new drug development center. So these are great investments that the country has put in Turku and its research infrastructure. So it's a great place to do a lot of this research. And Turku has 4 universities and a university hospital, which offer world-class modern infrastructure using in a centralized campus area. So you can literally walk around and go and see these things and go and use these things. You don't have to get on a bus or a train to go and have a meeting or a conversation with a part of your research or collaborator here in Turku. It's really well organized and really accessible. And finally, I don't know, again, you can't see it on the screen, Finland is apparently the world's happiest country. So it's a great place, provides excellent support for family and life balance. And there's extra support in the program for that. So welcome to Finland. I hope you'll all apply. And now I'll pass on the conversation back to Marcus and the team. Thank you very much. And there's some contact for you there.
Huge thanks, George. So next, I will go to our website. So pretty much all the material and anything else you want to find can be found from our website, syslife.fi. And as George mentioned, so this is everything is around cardiometabolic and brain health. And we have 10 different team areas: cardiology, cell signaling and molecular mechanisms, epigenetics, instrumentation, image processing and diagnostic innovations, digital health technology, metabolism, neuroscience, lifestyle, nutrition and food technology, oral health, and population health research. And then within these broad teams, there are altogether over 40 different projects that are have descriptions in these websites, and also persons you for you to contact, for instance, for those letters of support. So, for instance, in cardiology, we have things around atrial fibrillation, imaging, and mostly around coronary imaging, but also we have this whole body PET camera here, so anything that can be kind of applied for that. So through the website you can find everything you kind of need, and especially these projects. And otherwise there is something about the project, about our partners, Turku, and some materials. And then I think one interesting thing is that under this research part, there are short descriptions of some of our current researchers. We have already selected 11, 8 of them are already in Finland, and the last 3 are coming soon. And so you can kind of read what kind of background they are having and what are kind of their research headings or main focus areas during their stay. And then certainly there is contact possibilities, and then we have gathered some news and events about all that has been going on during the last year. So, and then as always, please be active, please ask if there is anything more you want to need, but basically all the main things are here within our website, which is easily accessible at SYS-LIFE.fi.